Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn session on dementia-friendly communities with Anthony Parker from Dementia Australia. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm working today, the Gadigal and Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation. The people of the Eora Nation, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and the land, our Mother Earth. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Bayside Council has been running free online lunch and learn sessions daily to help our community stay connected, active and well during lockdown. So please follow us on Eventbrite to view our weekly program and all other events hosted by Council. I'll add the link to the chat for you to follow up with. Okay, so today's session is being delivered in recognition of Dementia Action Week, which was last week, and International Day of Older Persons, which is coming up on Friday, the 1st of October. Now, before I introduce Anthony, I would just like to ask that all questions are held until the end of the presentation. You will be able to unmute yourself to do this at the time, but you can also add your questions to the chat and we will get to them at the end. So Anthony Parker is the Program Officer for Dementia-Friendly Communities at Dementia Australia. Hi, Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am, Carly. Thank you very much. All right, so yes, nice to see everyone or meet everyone. I'll just start sharing my screen. So just give me a moment. And beginning. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Now, I think you might be seeing it in presentation view rather than slide view.
Yes.
Okay. Yep, sorry, I know what to do. I've shared it the wrong way, so just give me a moment. Right, so I'll start that again. Okay, is that better?
Perfect, thank you.
All right, great. So, so creating a dementia-friendly community, it really is all about individuals, starting at the grassroots level. All of us together play a role in creating a dementia-friendly community. And it's really made up of the collective actions and decisions that each of us make every day. In this presentation, I'm going to be talking about the impact of dementia, what a dementia-friendly community is, some practical examples of dementia-friendly communities, a process for getting started, and ways we can all take action. So to start with, it's really important to say that it is possible to live well with dementia. While there currently is no cure for dementia, a diagnosis is not the end of the story. It's really about partnering with people living with dementia so that everyone can live well in their community. And this is the goal of the Dementia Friendly Communities program. It's also important to understand that when you've met a person with dementia, you've only met one person with dementia. There are over 100 conditions that cause dementia, and there are many, many symptoms of dementia. And everybody's journey with dementia is unique. So it's really important not to stereotype. Now, how can we all live well with or without dementia? Here are some things that we can all do: looking after our heart, doing some physical activity, a healthy diet, social activity, and mentally challenging our brains. These are things that can reduce our risk of developing dementia, but as the research studies show, we cannot guarantee that any individual, that even if they do everything right, they won't get dementia, as there are many factors, both modifiable and non-modifiable, which influence a person's risk of developing dementia. Back in 2019, Dementia Australia commissioned a survey, the discrimination survey, and these are some of the results that we gathered around the impact of dementia. So, as you can see, 3 out of 4 people living with dementia said people don't keep in touch with them. 65% said people they know have been avoiding them since their diagnosis. 71% of family members, friends or carers say that they have not been included in family activities. And 81% of people said people in shops, cafes and restaurants treat people with dementia differently. So what these statistics clearly show is that the impact of dementia is not limited to the physical symptoms of the disease itself, but also include the psychosocial and emotional needs of people living with dementia and how they're clearly being disregarded, even if it's not always intentional. But it is obvious that people with dementia are being discriminated against. So a dementia-friendly community is about creating change and reversing some of these statistics. We have a couple of quotes here from people living with dementia around their experiences after their diagnosis. And as you can see, it's sometimes not just about the diagnosis, it's about losing friends. People living with dementia often find their social circles are significantly diminished, and they also often experience embarrassment or humiliation when they have an issue or a difficulty out in the community and they don't receive that little bit of extra support or patience from others that would make such a big difference to them and actually give them the confidence to engage in community activities that the rest of us take for granted. So I'd like us to just do a bit of a reflection now. Can you think of a time when you were excluded and how did that make you feel? We've all had experiences of being excluded over the last 18 months, being in with COVID and being in lockdown. But I'll just share a personal example that's happened to me recently. An ex-colleague and friend of mine recently passed away unexpectedly, and I was not able to attend their funeral due to the lockdown. Now, apart from the grief I experienced at losing a friend, being excluded from the funeral was very, very upsetting and caused me to feel deeply depressed for several days. I can only imagine that people living with dementia feel this kind of loss and depression at being excluded on a regular basis. Now, the kinds of things that might help to reduce that exclusion, if you're in an unfamiliar place, people smiling at you, just a smile goes a long way. Someone saying hello, looking at you directly with a friendly manner and tone of voice and asking how you are. And if you are confused, if you don't know where you are, someone asking if you need help and giving you directions. These are really simple things that we can all do, but they just take a little bit of awareness and a little bit of willingness on our part to really be the change that we're looking for in the community. So what do you think makes a community dementia friendly? And I'd encourage you to put your comments in the chat if you have some input around what you think makes a community dementia friendly. And I'll just start off by saying being inclusive is a good start. But if you have anything that you'd like to add in the chat, please do so, and we can come back to that later.
If you are not familiar with using Zoom and not sure how to use the chat, you can unmute yourself to ask questions throughout.
Okay, so now I have a video to play of people living with dementia talking about their aspirations for what a dementia-friendly community might look like.
The sound is kind of coming through, it's broken up.
Can I just check that everyone can hear that?
It's not sounding great on my end.
Okay. Right, let me just try something, Carly.
Yep.
I'm just going to stop the sharing and go back. Okay.
We can hear it now. Thank you.
A dementia-friendly community, to me, would be one where people with dementia would feel included, they'd feel safe, they'd be able to enjoy activities that they've always enjoyed.
One word is acceptance that we're the same people.
It would be somebody who would be willing to explain things again.
Dementia-friendly community to me would be a community that understands of what you're going through.
One where we can ask for help and just receive it without being looked at as if it's, you're strange.
You can get help off other people and stuff.
There's great amount of support there.
It looks like any other community. The real difference is that people are just a little bit more aware of what it's like to have dementia. For any community to become more dementia friendly, it has to begin with the individuals.
Fear of the unknown is the thing that brings out the best and the worst in people.
Some more education every now and then.
The more knowledge that they know of dementia would be a big plus.
Then they might understand what I am going through.
So I don't think we can expect people to be able to be dementia friendly if they haven't had any education on how to be dementia friendly.
I think the community could be more dementia friendly by information more than anything.
The first step, I think, in being dementia friendly is education.
People like us can get out there and have talks with them.
The stigma is removed from dementia. They understand that, not everybody's the same.
And it would be good if people were more aware and not think that I was silly or stupid or dumb because I can't remember what I'm trying to say.
I'd just like people to talk to me, just to come up and say hello.
At the checkout, if you were having sort of trouble or getting money from your purse or something.
It would be nice if people, if I was lost, didn't just sort of, say nothing but say, hey, are you okay?
The more people are aware, the better they are able to understand and provide that little bit of assistance where it's required.
Yeah, you just got to get the ball started, don't you?
Just social friendliness, that's mainly the key.
There's nothing more, to me, enjoyable than walking around in a community that I know if I have issues will not shun me but will actually help.
I would feel comfortable because I would know that there are people at the shopping centre that had been educated with through people talking to them about how to treat people with dementia.
It would make it a lot easier. It would make my life with a community that understands. That would make my life a lot easier.
Community needs to involve the person that has dementia.
If you're trying to make things better for people with dementia without actively involving them in the process, you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. And unfortunately, their time is more limited than yours.
Embraces so that we're still part of the community, because we are still part of the community.
Just treat you as a normal person,
Yeah, you got to be able to have a laugh. That was one of my other sort of things, you know. You got to have a laugh every day.
I just have this wonderful picture of a community, whether it be a small community, whether it be like just a street even, or whether it be a town, or whether it be a capital city, that would have some respect for people with dementia.
Sorry about that. Okay. So, yeah, we asked the experts what is a dementia-friendly community, and these are some of the quotes that we received. So, as you can see, it's really about being inclusive, where any type of vulnerability is included, feeling that you belong and feeling that you won't be judged, and also where people don't feel left out and they feel comfortable and safe in their surroundings. Excuse me. So we came up with one definition of what a dementia-friendly community is, and this is just one definition. There are many. So this one is a place where people living with dementia can live a life of purpose, meaning and value, where people living with dementia are included and can make their own choices. So getting started in your community, the first thing is to ask and involve people living with dementia. And to coin a phrase, a very popular phrase, nothing about us without us, which has become the rallying cry of Dementia Alliance International, who have said, working together, we will improve the lives of people with dementia and our families. It is not acceptable to continue to do anything about us without us. So it's about walking beside people living with dementia. Now, I'd like to talk about a few communities that have taken action in the dementia-friendly community space and really done some amazing and incredible things. First of all, the Dementia-Friendly Kiama project, which began in 2014 and has led to a number of social inclusion activities and a real shift in community attitudes. Secondly, the Lithgow Dementia Alliance's Creative Dementia Workshop project, which was a series of 10 fortnightly workshops combining mindfulness, music therapy and art therapy, as well as a support group for carers. And that's a project that ran this year from January to June. And also, thirdly, the St Georgian Sutherland Alliance's Getting to Know You project, which was a joint project between the Alliance and Narani Childcare, bringing people living with dementia and children under 5 together for fun, laughter, play and sharing. And just on the St Georgian Sutherland Alliance, it began in 2019 as a project convened by Three Bridges Community, which is a not-for-profit community organisation based in the St George area. The Alliance consists of people living with dementia, carers and representatives from Sutherland Shire Council, South East Sydney Local Health District, Calvary Community Health, Gymea Community Aid and Information Services, Ibis Aged Care, Hammond Care, Gymea Community Aid, sorry, I already said that, Narani Childcare, Blakehurst High School and Willis and Baring Solicitors. So I'm going to play a couple of videos now, which highlights these projects. So I'm just going to stop sharing. And I'm going to share another screen. With me. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. So this is about the Kiama Dementia Friendly project.
Well, the project is structured really around the two groups, the Dementia Advisory Group and the Alliance. The advisory group being made up exclusively of people living with dementia and all their care partners, and the Alliance being a broader coalition of services and organisations and individuals interested in dementia or working in the service delivery space.
So we've had nearly 1,400 people, I think, come to community education across the 3 or 4 years of the project. So the key activities involved in that has actually been providing a program about the lived experience of dementia, to provide people in the Kiama community with an opportunity to actually meet people that have dementia.
I feel it's our job to remind people and then create a dementia-friendly environment, whether it is for the hour, for the day. How can you tell that someone has dementia until you actually get involved with them?
The community education programs have been really good, particularly the one that we had the other day with the Meals on Wheels people, and he had lots and lots of answers for people who asked questions on things relating to anatomy, to behaviour, a whole range of things that you wouldn't expect someone to answer, and it was just magnificent that he also has dementia himself, and they could see like it's not the end of the world for everyone, that people get on and can have a really good, interesting life.
We've had several projects running at the same time. One was the social dancing with dementia, which runs over about a 6-week period every Friday, and people living with dementia and their care partners are invited along to have an afternoon of dancing and socialising and music. Also, the Music in Memory programme started at the beginning of last year. People have been donating iPods so that families can download individual music for the person that's living with dementia that associates them with their memories. The other one is the Animal Kinship. It's a lady that works in the town in a company called Animal Kinship, and the partnership between her and Blue Haven Dementia Facility has actually been taking in these virtual pets and seeing what the response is, whether they're a cat or a dog or a rabbit, and the therapeutic response it's had on the person.
We initially went in with a program, which is important, and we had a basis upon which other research has been done. One day I said, look, let's just go ahead now that we've implemented this, but took about 15 of these animals up, and I put them along, you know, the environment in the day area, and we said, let's just see now what happens. Well, that was where the magic hit. And it was almost so they were just a trigger for some kind of, so they were communicating, they were talking to each other, but for me it was the smiling and this coming, you could see the light in their eyes, they were just coming forward, and they would be touching and holding these. It was a joy.
I've had the privilege of working in a dementia-friendly environment, and now I'm also, whilst I'm studying, I'm working in a cafe in the Kiama community and just getting a bit more out there about what I'm doing outside of the cafe and trying to spread the word about it.
I do think it's a lot to do with staff and make them feel welcome. A lot of cafes don't, which I know, when I've been speaking to their carers or their family, and that's what they've said about us. We just, a little bit of fuss, not too much, just make them feel welcome to start their day off nice. And that's what we do here. We don't single anybody out. Everybody's equal. And I think that's what all cafes need to do.
So we'd had quite a lot of work around dementia design principles and how we design residential aged care facilities, and we were really interested in trying to understand, well, what makes a friendly community environment? So being able to again work with people with dementia and design a tool that we could use to audit public buildings like our local supermarket or like our local library, and to use the information that was generated from that audit process to both make improvements in the physical environment that meant that people with dementia that were navigating and negotiating those environments could achieve what they went in there to achieve.
What we've encountered locally is that people are actually having changes in the way they will, in some cases, operate businesses or treat people, and even just casual people on the street. Being involved in this project, I can start to see changes that are affecting people's lives on a daily basis. And it's not only the local community now, it's really globally.
Oh, look, the biggest unexpected outcome has been the global recognition of the work that we've done here in Kiama. So that felt like just normal work to me, but we kept on getting told that there's something special happening here.
I think the fact that people with dementia have been very involved. People with a good background in education certainly has made a difference.
Most people I've spoken to find the hardest thing is actually getting people with dementia involved in the first place. The more people that are involved, the easier it's going to become. And I tend to think that what we're looking at is going to be a generational change rather than a short-term, quick change.
We have to recognise some of the impact of what it has been like for people to be socially excluded and stigmatised. So one of the things that we learnt from our project was the importance of mentoring by people with dementia for people with dementia.
The important thing to understand is that you need to know the community in which you're working. This is one of the, the shared values and expertise that the university has brought to our project, the University of Wollongong. The advice I'd always give to other projects trying to work in this space is start with something small, something that you can achieve, because success breeds success. So if you find you start to get some traction in this space, then go with that. Don't doggedly stick to something because that's what you plan to do initially.
So we're beginning to explore the ways that a community coalition like ours can have in actually also advocating for better services and service development for people with dementia. And we believe that those services will be transformed in a similar way through contact with people with dementia.
For example, when we were in Singapore, talking to people there, they had some ideas that we hadn't thought of. And our challenge is to try and adapt their best practice into what we can do here and make changes here.
So I'll stop sharing that. And I'll go back to my PowerPoint. And I think, Carly, in the interest of time, I may not play the second video. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's okay. And I think what we might be able to do is follow up with everyone who registered for this session with a few links to additional resources and videos that they might have missed out on today.
Sure. Okay, so can you see the PowerPoint presentation again?
Yep.
All right, so in summary, as you can see, dementia really is everybody's business. The number of people with a diagnosis of dementia is going to more than double between now and 2060, from currently about 475,000 to over 1 million people. So it is everybody's business. and it really does start at a grassroots level. It starts with all of us, and the Dementia Friendly Communities team is here to support communities to do that. And I would encourage everybody to go onto the Dementia Friendly Communities website, dementiafriendly.org.au, and have a look at the resources there and sign up to become a Dementia Friend and complete the 20-minute Dementia Friends module, which will give you a bit of awareness of how to be more dementia friendly when you're out there in the community. So final thoughts, people with a lived experience really are the wisdom holders of a dementia friendly community, which is only truly achievable and sustainable if people with a lived experience are at the heart of that community. Inclusion and enablement arises from walking with their lived experience and wisdom, which promotes a self-sufficient and self-sustaining community. And by everyone being here today, we're all planting seeds to grow the environment for change. So to borrow from the Hopi Indian philosophy, together we are the ones we've been waiting for. So now to any questions that people might have.
Everyone should be able to unmute themselves now. And thank you, Anthony.